Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
I mean, generally on a Monday following a sports weekend, especially in the midst of May, you have plenty of things to talk about. I was so ready to dive deep into my trip to Minneapolis to watch the Minnesota Timberwolves play and see Ant Edwards drop a 40-piece in person. It was a major letdown, and we were going to talk about major letdowns, but right before the show started today, the NFL, the gift that keeps on gifting, well, it gifted Jared Goff a major contract. 4 years, $212 million. It's being reported Jared Goff just got from the Detroit Lions, former number 1 overall pick for the Rams in 2016. He survived Jeff Fisher. He was discarded from his original franchise, off to Detroit, had to watch the Los Angeles Rams win a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford, and now it's all coming full circle for Jared Goff, who was once supposed to be a franchise quarterback. People had conversations and probably wrote him off as a career backup. There were so many, even in his first few years with the Lions, there was all of that talk of, well, when are they going to go get themselves a real QB like what the Rams did, like what Sean McVay decided he had to do. And now here he is, Brad Holmes, GM of the Detroit Lions, making Jared Goff the highest paid Lion in Detroit's history. See, Kat, there's a lot of different takes you can have on this, but I go to our resident expert on getting the bag on how Jared Goff is feeling right now.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
Woo! That is a major payday. We've been getting inklings, right? The writing was on the wall. We knew that Jared Goff was going to get paid soon. Did not think it would come in this fashion with $170 million guaranteed. Jared Goff, $170 million guaranteed, $212 million from the Detroit Lions. And the only thing I can think of now is, now that the Lions have fully committed to their guy, they just got done paying Penei Sewell, the tackle, a huge payday. I think they made him the highest paid tackle in the league. They just got done paying Jared Goff's favorite receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, $30 million a year, right? Like, the Lions are investing in the guys they went out and drafted, and that's great for the city. It's great for the team. Most importantly, it's great for Jared Goff, whose pockets are full right now. But then I think about what's about to have to happen out there in Miami Gardens with the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa is on his 5th-year option this year. We know that the Miami Dolphins and the San Francisco 49ers with Brock Purdy have to make major decisions around quarterbacks who have major question marks to their names right now. And with Goff getting paid, I'm trying to get the actual stats on it, APY, annual per year. I think that's over $50 million per year. Am I off on that, CCAT? Around $50 million a year?
53, right? 212 divided by 4.
Well, I don't got a calculator right here. We just got the news. $53 million a year for Jared Goff. I do wonder if you're Tua Tagovailoa and you're coming off a season in which you did lead the NFL in passing yards. You've shown yourself to be an expert within Mike McDaniel's offense, and that front office, that coaching staff, and his weapons have done nothing but pour confidence into him. Tua Tagovailoa, his market could be well over $55 million right now. And I'm curious, for Dolphins fans out there right now, how do you feel specifically about this Jared Goff contract? Jared Goff getting $53 million a year with the Detroit Lions. Is it an overpay? Who's to say? He just got done bringing that franchise to an NFC championship game. They were a possession away from making the Super Bowl. And I was right here on these airwaves, CCAT, saying if Jared Goff can fight his way through the 49ers and make it to a Super Bowl, we might have to start having a new conversation about Goff and whether or not he's a top 10, top 7-ish quarterback in the NFL. It felt wild to say, but we were on the cusp of it. It's the same conversation we had about Jalen Hurts the year before when he made it to the Super Bowl and he put up MVP-type numbers. But now Jared Goff has the contract to back it. And before we get into whether or not this is going to drive up the market for Tua Tagovailoa, and thank God that this happened on a Monday, CCAP, because we do have Mike Tannenbaum, former GM of the Dolphins, or GM of the Jets, former president of the Dolphins. We're going to have him in about 15 minutes be our NFL insider and help us out with this, help us figure out what we should do with this information. So thank God it happened on a Monday.
Exactly. We get Mike T's first take on this.
We're gonna
Nobody gets it first but us.
The exclusive first Mike Tannenbaum take. Make sure you scour his Twitter, though. Make sure you scour his Twitter and make sure he doesn't get anything out here. We want him to break his thoughts here on Theoretically Speaking. But for Jared Goff right now, I pulled up a list of the top paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Obviously, Jared Goff going to make this list right now. I'm going to name these quarterbacks right here. Here go the top 5 quarterbacks in APY, annual per year, in the NFL right now. Jared Goff just climbed into this list. And you tell me, C-Cat, how you feel about this $53 million per year. Obviously, number 1 right now is Joe Burrow, who just inked his contract with the Bengals. He's at $62.9 million per year, according to ESPN.com. Right under him, at number 2, Justin Herbert at $53.3 million per year. And at number 3 in the NFL, it's not Patrick Mahomes, it's not Lamar Jackson, it's not Jalen Hurts, it's not Josh Allen. At number 3 in the NFL right now today, annual per year, is Detroit Lions quarterback Jared Goff at $53 million flat. C-Cat, you're a Ravens fan.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson's right under him at number 4 in the NFL at $52 million a year. Does that make you feel better about Lamar's contract, how much of a percentage of your cap Lamar is eating up, knowing that on the other side you have a quarterback who is considered much less dynamic and also a guy who hasn't won at that level of Lamar Jackson? I know you're disappointed coming off of that AFC Championship performance, but if you're looking at it like now, that looks like a bit of a bargain for Lamar.
Right, it's like pay your guys sooner rather than later because inflation, the increase of the salary cap, the price is always going to go up on that position of quarterback.
And you know who's suffering the most today? Not the Detroit Lions, the Dallas Cowboys, who idiotically have decided over the past couple of years that they weren't going to get that extension done with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, by the way, who came out in that same draft class as Jared Goff in 2016. Goff, obviously, the number 1 overall pick. Dak, a later draft pick. But now, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, we've already been flirting with, is that number for Dak Prescott going to be $60 million? Now it's kind of got to be. Now I think you've backed yourself into a place where if Jared Goff is getting $53 million a year and Dak Prescott has proven to be what he can be for your franchise, I think that number starts at 60 if I'm Dak.
But I mean, if you're the Cowboys, do you almost put off that we haven't won yet on Dak and not the organization as a whole?
Well, you better.
Because Jared Goff doesn't make it to one Super Bowl on accident, made it to another championship game on accident. Dak hasn't gotten nearly as close to winning the grand prize as Jared Goff did. And
I think that's going to be the thing. Now, when you have people in the Cowboys front office saying confidently out loud that Dak Prescott is a guy we can win with, I think it was Stephen Jones, vice president with the Dallas Cowboys, who said it last week. We believe we can win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott at quarterback. Like, he has all of the leverage right now. And now, between now and the time that the Dallas Cowboys actually are going to be able to make a deal with Dak Prescott, you got $53 million a year right here for Jared Goff, $170 million guaranteed. You're going to have the Brock Purdy contract likely already inked. You're going to have the Tua Tagovailoa contract inked. And if you're Dak Prescott's representation and you see Goff, Tua, and Purdy get deals, there's no way your starting point is going to be at least $5 million north of whoever the hell out of them come up with the biggest deal.
If they're putting their money literally where their mouth is by leaking that they think Dak can win them a Super Bowl, absolutely.
This deal here, I think this deal here for Jared Goff, as much as it speaks wonders to that franchise, the Detroit Lions, pouring confidence and faith in the Goff, as much as it also reinforces that they're paying their guys that they're drafting. Brad Holmes, who has done a great job of filling out a roster here, who now we consider as a contender. Jared Goff getting that contract, it's only screwing over for the Dolphins fans, the Niners fans, and now Cowboys fans who are wondering just how much of their cap space it's going to eat up. But we're gonna dig into some of that, and obviously we'll have Mike T on to give us his professional opinion on what this Goff contract is going to do to the quarterback market. But how about we go back to the NFL draft? You want to take a trip back with me to the NFL draft, C-Cat? I was opened up to a new thing out of the city of Detroit. I didn't know Jared Goff had got so much love. I didn't know how much of a figure that the fans attracted to and even his own players on his roster attracted to until we heard the Jared Goff chant. So can we get those Jared Goff chants?
Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Jared
That's got to feel good. That's got to feel good. We're talking about a guy.
What's up, Detroit? Let's go, baby!
There he is. Look at him. He's a king. He's a king out there in Detroit. And we're talking about a guy who started his career with Jeff Fisher, his rookie season going 0-7 in his starts. A guy that we all thought would be discarded, a guy that we didn't know what his future would hold, and now we have it. Jared Goff getting one of the biggest paydays in NFL history and the biggest payday in Detroit Lions franchise history. But the question comes now, what does that mean for Tua Tagovailoa? Should Tua's contract with the Miami Dolphins, which they have to figure out sometime between now and the end of next season, should Tua Tagovailoa's contract be more than or less than what Jared Goff got with the Detroit Lions? And I ask you on the Baptist Health Hotlines, 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. With Tua Tagovailoa's contract, now we have Jared Goff getting 4 years, $212 million from the Lions, $170 of that guaranteed, and the annual per year is right at $53 million. Is Tua worth more than what Goff just got with the Detroit Lions? 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Hit us up on the Baptist Health Hotline. Give us your take before we get Mike T's take. And speaking of Baptist Health, are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. I think there's no way Tua Tagovailoa should be making less than Jared Goff a year after he led the league in passing, and also a year or 2 years after him showing a high level of proficiency in a Mike McDaniel offense. Tua's contract starting number now is above 53 per year, and also he's going to need more than $170 million guaranteed. What say you? 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. We got Russell in Port St. Lucie. Russell, you're on Theoretically Speaking. You heard about the Goff contract, $212 million, $170 million guaranteed. Should Tua be paid more or less by the Dolphins this year?
Tua has not taken the Dolphins anywhere near what that other young man has done.
Oh, yeah.
Tua should be treated fairly and maybe given an incentive clause. But no, he doesn't deserve it just because he's the quarterback of the Dolphins.
And Russell, are you a Dolphins fan?
Yes.
So you would rather the Dolphins let him play out this fifth-year option and move on and try and find a guy in the draft, or just pay him less overall unless Tua doesn't take it?
Do not get addicted to a false flag. That's the way I look at it.
Cryptic.
There's been too much of the players cashing out on these deals.
All right. Well, thank you for the call, Russell. I mean, that right there, it shows you just what the disposition is for Miami Dolphins fans right there. Russell sounded like a guy who knows what's coming around the corner.
Yeah.
He knows Chris Greer's about to open up that checkbook and let it rain for Tua Tagovailoa, and he's already dreading it, and it hasn't even happened yet. I mean,
Russell came from a time machine and warned us of the future, that if Tua gets a contract, that all of a sudden he's not going to play well. That's what it felt like right there.
It legitimately felt that way, and it's funny because as we talk to Dolphins fans, and we're going to bring Mike Tannenbaum in here, NFL insider here for Theoretically Speaking. We're going to bring him in to get his opinion soon. The topic for today, before we found out about Jared Goff's contract, was what's been the time in sports where you've had the highest expectations. You've had a lot of gusto going into it, and you had a major letdown. I mean, the Detroit Lions are setting Jared Goff up for that, right? An NFC Championship appearance, a huge contract. Now the stage for Goff and the Lions is, well, we got to either get back there or better next year. If they get bounced in the first round, that's looking like a major disappointment. You just brought in Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, a rookie quarterback with the Vikings. The Packers have Jordan Love. That division, I mean, the Lions have a lot of competition in that division just to get out of it, let alone to make it through the NFC playoffs. They're setting Jared Goff up for maybe a major letdown. And CCAT, I asked the good people on Twitter at Theo Dorsey TV, I asked them, when's the last time in sports you had a major letdown? And I might have had like 3 or 4 different Miami fans saying either the Hurricanes or Miami sports in general. So I get the sentiment. I get the disposition. Miami sports fans, it seems like outside of the Heat and the Panthers maybe, they feel like they suffer. They suffer a whole lot, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like Miami, any college sports, though, unless you're one of like 5 major programs in either of the major college sports, you're always being disappointed. It's so hard to get the grand prize. Pro sports, a little bit less so. I would say so.
Well, that's the thing, too, is with college sports, you know, there's always just the one winner, and losing seasons don't mean high draft picks, right?
Yeah.
You go 8-5 in college, it's just like, oh, that sucked.
You just lose your recruits.
Yeah. If you go 3-7 in college, it's just, oh, it sucks. But yeah. So again, Dolphins fans, a little bit trepidatious hearing this Jared Goff news. But if you're just tapping in now, the breaking news out of the NFL, the Lions reportedly signing quarterback Jared Goff to a 4-year, $212 million deal, $170 million reportedly guaranteed, an annual per year of $53 million to the former number 1 overall pick, the highest paid Lion in the history of the franchise. When we come back, we're going to get Mike T on. He's going to let us know what that makes of the quarterback market, and also we're going to try to put franchises and their off seasons against each other. We're going to see what Mike T thinks about a couple teams that are similar in yoke, but see who actually had the better summer so far. And I got to include the Lions now. We got to call an audible now that we see the major money coming in for Jared Goff.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
We're talking to Mike T when we come back. That's CCAT. I'm Theo Dorsey. We're theoretically speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the